Well, hello there. My name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM Network Podcast. Today, I'm talking to Larry Kortkamp of the Kortkamp Group. Good to see you, Larry.
Good to see you too, Susan.
You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show, rebuilding American business influence locally, nationally, and abroad, bringing you experienced insight for a strong, influential brand and successful life in business. Here's your host, Susan Hamilton.
We've been having some of the best conversations about the local family business because we share a heart for this community. And one of the things I just love to identify and make sure we connect with early on is that we know this community. 80% of American micro to small business tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. That means we're building our business while we're raising our kids, taking care of our parents. We probably have a veteran, active duty, EMT, or law enforcement in our family or workspace, and 30 to 50% of us have an addict in our family or workspace. Today's business climate is very different. And it's, as we were saying earlier, Larry, it's not your mom's business. You can't wear all the hats today like she could. This is tough stuff. It
is tough stuff. We want to wear those hats.
Yeah.
And the idea of business is the same as mom's. It's the same as grandma's. You got into business for a specific reason. You thought you had something that was worthy of sharing with your community in one aspect or another. Either that was you're in a restaurant, you're a good accountant, or whatever that happens to be. You've got a store, so you want to share that, and it's a good way for you to make a living for you and your family. Mm-hmm. So how do we do that against the big challenges that we face today in the world? So the numbers are against us, right? If you just look at the stats, small businesses face an uphill challenge. They're usually not here after a long period of time, and it's not that long, 5 to 7 years, or even a year or 2 years down the road, we lose a lot of them. Why does that happen? So what our company does at the Kortkamp Group, we always call ourselves a business improvement company. So we're trying to improve businesses. How do we help them to succeed? And that encompasses a wide range of opportunities for us and a wide range of potential challenges for them and how we can help them fix that.
That's so true. And I just want to get rid of the doomsday about it, because while they may not succeed, at the same time they go back and they go back and they go back and they make up the backbone of American commerce. It's a huge, huge issue across the board. They're failing and coming back, either doing the same thing better or trying a new avenue. But we can do a better job of helping them achieve the longevity that we've had before.
The reason they sometimes don't succeed is because of small little things that they're not doing correctly. So a lot of our small businesses are hesitant to reach out to someone else that can help them to overcome these challenges that they face. And the reason they fail and then come back is because they're learning like we've all learned.
Right.
We're learning by example. So I've tried this, it didn't work. So now I'm going to go back, and this time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different, and I'll succeed. But if they would just do something that a lot of entrepreneurs find very difficult to do, they have to release some of that control, right? They have to learn to delegate. They have to listen to other people. If they can do that to a certain extent, we can help them to bridge gaps in their businesses, take the things that they're doing right, combine them with some of the things that we think they could tweak just a little bit differently to make their business more successful and have a little bit longer lifespan in this world.
And possibly a lot longer, because the types of things that we're dealing with, if we try to do it all, and I've said this a million times, so at the risk of sounding like a broken record, geez, you can't wear every single hat you can't. But today IT is moving so much faster. HR is moving so much faster. The compliance. There's some big things out here that if we try to navigate all of that, we're no longer doing the other things that make our company great. And what's worse than that is, in that environment, it becomes very difficult to convey the heart and the passion for what it is that we're doing, right? The company's mission, the company's message, to the teams that we're building to execute the whole doggone thing. That means processes now, wow. And without outside eyeballs, I think it's very difficult to get your operations in order as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned something, outside eyeballs. Really, that's what we provide to a business. We come in, we don't know your business inside and out, and I really don't want to know your business inside and out. I have to come in with an objective point of view. First thing I have to do is see who you are now. What's making you successful now? And then as an outside observer, I'm comparing your business to other businesses that I see, both successful ones and not so successful ones. And how can I correlate what your business does to those other groups? And how do we get your business to operate more like the successful ones and less like the ones that are unsuccessful? So some businesses, most businesses, have a lot of commonalities. No matter what widget they're making or how they're selling it, they still have operations that need to be operated the same. So how they hire employees, how they train, how they position themselves in the market, how they generate new leads, how they circumvent the regulations in their industry, all these different things that have to happen that are similar and identical in most cases to many other businesses. So if I can come in and point some of those out, then we can help them to figure those problems out.
Super important. I think everyone that I'm talking to here in the DFW community, I very rarely hear somebody say, yeah, not me. It deals with employment. And we were talking about that earlier in our personal discussion. We're seeing this right and left. Getting this team to get on board, I think may look very different today than it's ever looked before, to engage a workforce that loves what they're doing and brings their passion to the game.
Right.
So to do that, I think, is probably on everyone's heart. We want to. How do we stop the exhaustion? Right? Because it is exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Go through people time and time again. Do you have any simple guidelines that can help us look at that spot a little smarter?
I do. I mean, some of the things are transferable from your personal life to your business life. So how do we handle that on a personal level? I'm very fortunate in our business, the Kortkamp Group. I get to do it with my wife, Elaine. We share the challenges, we share the ups, the downs of our business, and we learn to delegate duties to one another. Those same things that work in a private or your personal life have to be translated to your business life as well. You can't do all that by yourself. You have to learn how to trust and delegate to others within your industry otherwise, or within your business. Otherwise, it becomes too much for you. That can operate at certain levels. If you're a painter and you go out and paint and you're just a one-man guy in a truck, it's easier for you to do that. If you want to grow beyond that and have two people, the minute you go to that second person, all these challenges arise, right? So it's like the larger your business grows, and it's a natural progression. Businesses have a tendency to want to grow. They want to grow. How do we allow that business to grow, fertilize it correctly, water it the way it's supposed to be doing, encourage the people that are there, and how do we help them to mature into a bigger business than where they are? And those things are the same things that we do in a family, the same things we do in our community. But we often do it differently at work. How many times do we talk to somebody that says, I know Joe outside of church, outside of work at church, he's a different guy than when he's down at the work. It's because he puts his work hat on and he's all business. But that same thing that makes him all business at work is the same thing that's helping or hurting him with his employee morale. His employees aren't feeling the love for him because he just put off the hat that he wears at the ballpark coaching the kids, and he put on his work hat. And now he's a different guy than what he was someplace else. We have to take the same qualities that make us good people, good stewards of our communities, of our families, take those same values into our businesses, and that's how we retain our employees, because they are our family. Our business people who work with us is our work family, right? How do we keep our work family happy? The same way we keep our own family happy. Sometimes it's compromise. You can't always have everything you want. So as a leader, we try and determine those things where I can bend a little. There's things I can't bend on.
Well, so that's where I'm getting.
Some things we can.
That's what I'm getting at, Larry, because when it's one thing to keep them happy, it's another thing to keep them productive. And all of that is process-oriented.
It's all process-oriented. I'm kind of a tech guy, and in our business, I do a lot of the technical aspects. It's what I love to do. So there's a lot of ways that technology today can help us manage phases or portions of our business that didn't exist in our mom or our grandma's businesses that now allow us to operate, whether that's on the payroll side, on the processes side, how we generate a lead, how we process that sale through the business, how we advertise ourselves in the world. All these things now have different mechanisms in place to help us to do that. Everything from how we accept a phone call is different, right? We don't have phone lines anymore. Now it's all done through the internet, or it's done through some other application.
And I hear that I'm my husband just came home the other night and talked about a scenario at work where he was on the phone with someone who had said that the way she runs her business is everybody has to take that phone and put it in a basket when they walk in that door. I don't know how realistic that is today. I have to say, I liked the idea, right? Except we're in media and everybody's going to really be needing that phone to actually do what we do. So it's an interesting time today, but technology is playing a huge role, and our focus, I mean, in every aspect, I would say, from every level of our company, how we're using that technology, how we're keeping that focus in place. I think those are huge challenges today.
The way I look at it, the best technology is technology that kind of disappears. It's technology that's less noticeable. You should be able to focus on running your business rather than focused on the technology of your business. Technology needs to be seamless. It needs to operate well. At home, with your computer at home, you don't have a workman standing by your machine helping you every day with the problems that are broken or don't work. It's the same thing in your business. You don't need something. Your machine shouldn't be broken every day. You know, there's other things that are impacting that particular problem that we want to try and fix. Why is that one particular instance? You are processing this particular sale through an arcane manner, through a worksheet. Even though it seems technical, I'm doing it through an Excel spreadsheet. You're doing a 3,000 cell Excel spreadsheet that takes you forever, and it's not recording the information correctly. You're having to write that information here, and then here, and then here, and then you incorporate human error because now you've got people that are transcribing that information from place to place, and it's still not reaching the intended user that needs to have it. So how can we eliminate some of these overlapping processes, things that don't do?
Do you use SQL for that?
We use a lot of things. Yeah. The nice thing about technology today is how many choices and options we have. And to the consumer, sadly, they all seem to blend together. We were teasing each other at a conference that I was calling us the acronym business, and we are. There's an acronym for everything. So it's
OBBM, we don't know.
Yeah, it's UCAS or it's SD-WAN or it's whatever it happens to be. And all these acronyms are important to us, and we say them because we don't want to say the lengthy terminology to each other. But we often forget that the people that we're actually trying to help or reach don't understand what we're talking about. So one of the things that we try and do is bridge that gap from the technology world and how sophisticated or uncommon it seems to be, and make it fit a business that doesn't seem to think that technology is going to work for them.
Very good.
I've got a telephone. Why do I need to go to an internet-based phone? Because you have delivery people that could benefit by having that cell phone in their car and take that cell phone with them so that you can take them to the next place that they need to deliver. Or you've got service trucks that need GPS location systems inside them that tell you where they are, when they're going to be at their next account, how their vehicles are operating. Or you have an order processing system that tells where that order is happening. All these things make your business more efficient, and if they're done correctly, you shouldn't have to worry about them either. They become just something that operates in the background. You and I get in our car and we drive to work. How often have you gotten to work and you didn't even realize you didn't even think about the trip? You didn't make all those complicated exits and on-ramps and speed decisions and turns. That was something that just operated, and that's how the technology in your business should operate. That stuff should just be done because you're focused on the destination. You're focused on what I'm going to do and where I have bigger things to think about than the printer that's not going to print today, right?
Fabulous. Larry, thank you so much. We're about to take a break and hear from some of our sponsors, and when we get back, we're going to hear more from Larry Kortkamp with Kortkamp Group.
The American business economy is positioned as it has never been before. Professional videography is a core element for attracting a higher level of engagement with the people group you need for significant impact. Now is your time to shine. My name is Bill Brock, owner of White Rock Films, and I invite you to a powerful opportunity in the marketplace, an opportunity to draw excited people to your events, an opportunity to showcase your ideas on infrastructure, an opportunity to become known as the industry authority and enjoy the associated benefits of a strong, influential brand. Video highlights, video teaches. Video puts a resistant market at ease, and video stirs the hearts and imaginations of your allies and strategic client base. White Rock Films offers full audio, video production for businesses ready to embrace the future, handling your project with professionalism, experience, and polish unheard of in the industry. My name is Bill Brock, and White Rock Films wants your business. See us online at whiterockfilms.com.
And we're back. You're watching OffBeat Business TV. My name is Susan Hamilton, and I'm here with Larry Kortkamp with the Kortkamp Group, and we're talking about business success as it relates to operations and processes and technology. This is a great conversation. I'm excited to share the Kortkamp Group with you. Larry, thank you so much. You shared some practical application in the earlier half of this program that I think are going to be terribly beneficial. We need to understand how these things apply to us.
Well, first off, again, I'm glad to be here. I get so excited about this type of stuff. Yeah, it's very exciting for me to be able to go in and talk to a small business company and help them to achieve their goals. It's really something that I like to do. I like to see people be successful. I like to promote people, right, and make them successful. So all the things that we do are with that designed in mind. A lot of people are hesitant to call somebody in from the outside. You and I had talked earlier about an accountant or how that happens. You know, you feel so exposed, and you feel like you have some shortcomings in your business, and you don't want to bring that person in there because that's dad. You know, that's mom or dad coming in to tell you to clean your room again, right? So
it's vulnerable.
It is vulnerable, and sadly, those are the things that need to happen. And if you can get rid of the stigma of thinking of someone coming in from the outside to tell you what you're doing wrong, instead of looking not as a coach necessarily, but as someone that can help you.
Take a flashlight.
Yeah, and just kind of shine the light into some of those areas. It's a good analogy as to where you might be able to change things. So we were talking before the break about technology. Technology is great. You know, technology for me is a way of measuring, right? On one respect, it helps the systems of a business operate better. If we can find a software that'll help you generate an architectural drawing, if you're an architect, if we can have that software that'll talk to your person in the field that's actually operating the work crew that's working on the building, and they can actually make changes to that architectural drawing there or order supplies, and that single thing that they do in the field transmits through the entire operation all the way up to the little lady that's cutting the check. Or if that is even gone and now the check is actually cut automatically and goes to the vendor and the piece is now sent out, that's where your business begins to grow, because now you've eliminated so many bottlenecks in your business that existed before, because there are pressure points in each one of these phases of that small order that goes through. So for me, that's technology. How do I incorporate something to make my systems work better? But then the other side is metrics. You cannot succeed in your business if you can't measure your business. A lot of people tell me, I'm not making any money. Okay, well, how much does it cost you to make your widget? Well, that depends. They don't know. They don't know how much it costs them to make the widget they're selling. Well, how much are you selling it for? Well, that depends. They don't know how to position it as on the sales side. They don't know how to price their object. They don't know how many different points there are. If they're a manufacturer selling business to business, they might have a distributor or a wholesaler or an agent. They might have all these things. They're trying to sell a product that eventually is going to go out at a retail price point, but they don't know how to backpedal that to get their cost. And now they're buying it from overseas, and they're dealing with tariffs, or they're dealing with shipping costs. So many different factors that come into just how much is your product. We say it so casually, but what's the cost? How long does it take to be constructed? What are your carrying costs and inventory? These are things that people deal with in businesses every day. Right. And if you don't know how much inventory you have, where your supply chain is handled, how your pieces are being put together, and then you've got people that are actually doing those chores for you, how are they handling those things? What is your quality control like? There's a lot of moving parts to a business, and unless you can Unless you can measure all those moving parts, you can't improve your business because you don't even have a baseline to start from. So the other part of technology for me is not only helping things to move smoother, but also to identify all the pieces of your business so that you, as the captain of the ship, can sit down and see what your business is doing at any point in time. Where am I and how am I going to get to the next phase? And if you can't do that, you cannot operate your business. So.
And you certainly can't move it from, like you said, from this place to the next and convey that company culture and mission from where you are to the teams now that need to be able to execute all the things that make your widget happen and really get it out there. There's so many pieces today between HR and technology and marketing. One person trying to do all of those pieces is really going to struggle. And part of it is how quickly it all changes. Just keeping up with it. Even today, it's different than it was last year, right? Things moved very, very quickly. So we can't assume that it's going to slow down in the future. We have to really be ready with knowing who those people are in the community that can shine those lights in those areas. And a lot of it, because of the vulnerability, has to be done with communication familiarity. We've got to be more familiar to the communities that we serve so they realize where their help's coming from. I also believe that it helps them understand what questions to ask, Larry. What are some of the biggest questions the most frequent questions that you get?
The biggest question for me, a lot of small businesses fall into the same categories on a lot of things. So obviously one big category is cash flow, right? They're always strapped for cash, they're usually undercapitalized from the day they start, and for that time on, they're always undercapitalized. The next thing obviously is labor, I think is a big issue for them, and if they have any employees and how they manage and obtain employees. And then the other is actually selling their products. How do I gain new customers and clients? So if there's three top things that people think about, I think that's probably the top three that hit most people. And the cash is tougher, right? How you do the cash flow, that can be some systems and management, how we do costing within a company. Back to that pricing issue, are you priced effectively and all that. The employee issue, I think, is a little different. And I think we've gotten into this world of technology where everything's done through an app, right? And all the employees, but we forget a lot of basics when it comes to employees is people. And you're working for me, and you and I got to get along. So a resume is a piece of paper, but it doesn't tell you anything about the person. You also, as a company, have to be honest with yourself about a position. So if you're talking to a younger individual that's starting out in life and they want to achieve certain goals within their life, they're not something that wants to stay at a particular spot. They need to grow because they're going to get married, they have a family, they want their lifestyle to grow. So you don't want to put that person into a position that by nature is a static position. That position is not a lot of growth potential. So don't hire that person in the beginning and then think that person's going to be happy in your job. They're not going to be happy because they wanted a different thing. They want the job today because they want a job. But your job as the owner of the company is to see in an individual, what is that individual going to do for me and how can they fit best into my organization? And you don't get that from a resume. You get that by having an eyeball-to-eyeball conversation with somebody and sitting down and actually getting to know that person. That's what an interview is supposed to be. When I get somebody in for an interview for a job, these are the things I want to know about the person. What do you like? And how do you see yourself in this job? Why are you coming to work here? What do you like about the company? What are that old question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That was a specific question for a specific reason. We wanted to see where you were going in your life. So as a business owner, I always tell people to try and look for people that fit the position that you're hiring for. And try not to hire outside that. Hire people that you think are going to be in that position for the period that you want them to be. If training is complicated and difficult and costly, then you don't want high turnover in that position. Hire somebody that you think is going to be in that position for a period of time. If you're trying to hire somebody that you're grooming to be elevated within the community or elevated within your business, that's a different position, right? So you want that person to learn different aspects of your business and to grow. So I want someone who's interested in education and progressing that way. And I don't want somebody that's steadfast in that one job. So a lot of it, I think, is a lot of employee problems, I think, start at the beginning and just get worse, right? So it's like you know, everybody gets lucky, but I think a lot of them could be handled differently from the get-go from there on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get to see some of the things that, you know, HR offers all types of videos that can help people understand how to navigate the social scene today, right? Ethics training, customer service, all these different types of things that are accessible now through different resources that HR has, and the local business can actually take advantage of that. There's ways to access those types of things as well. So we can create that culture and help our team understand what those expectations are, right? We can do that and help them be a little more confident in their position.
I think that's the other thing I try and tell employers. A lot of what we see today are employers that want to hire a finished product. They want to hire somebody that already knows how to do their job. Well, that never used to be. When you started with a company, the company trained you how to work for them because they wanted you trained in their culture, in their atmosphere, in how they do and operate their business. That seems to have gotten a little bit diluted today. And when we listen to the advertisements, to listen to these employment companies, we help you find the employee that's exactly the right fit for your job. They're thinking that they're going to find somebody that knows exactly how to build that widget or sell it or do whatever they need to do, and that is a fallacy. That isn't what you want. That is not how you create a long-term employee. Bring them into your culture. You want somebody that's going to accept you as a business and want to be a part of that. They have to acclimatize to who your culture is and what your business is. They have to, just like assimilating to anything else, they have to assimilate to your business and your company, be part of it, take ownership of it, and want to do that business. And that doesn't always come off the street. You have to teach that a little bit.
Thank you, Larry. I think this has been terribly, terribly needed. Great conversation, and I'm really thrilled to be able to share you with the community. I think you're going to make a lot of businesses get to that next level. I think you're going to help them be that catalyst.
Well, thank you.
So that they can see what they need to do. I appreciate you. Friends, how can they get a hold of you, Larry? What's the best way to reach Kortkamp Group?
KortkampGroup.com, Kortkamp, KortkampGroup.com is the best place to get to the website. It has all our contact information on there, and of course we're very active on a lot of the social media platforms and other ways to hear about us, but that's probably the best way to start. It'll get us all the information that we need about you, and then we'll schedule an opportunity to come down and sit with you and see where you are in your business and how we might be able to help you.
Fabulous. Now, if you're driving down the road and you don't have time to grab a pen and paper, and of course don't do that if you're driving, know that go to the OffBeat Business app and you'll be able to get all this information and all of these links. You'll be able to connect with the Kortkamp Group and Larry Kortkamp and his wife Elaine very, very easily. You've been watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM Network on Apple, Roku, or Fire TV. Until next time.
You've been listening to the OffBeat Business Show. Find our lineup, podcast, magazine, event calendar, and sponsor information, even our membership directory, all available on the OffBeat Business app or at offbeatbusiness.com. Download the OffBeat Business app today.
Take this for me.